It is indelicate and insensitive to not regard the surrogates. They're not breed mares, we're people. My name is Elizabeth Roberts. I'm a 2-time surrogate from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Let's go.
This surrogate can't do much more than walk the dogs right now as she prepares for a hysterectomy after her second surrogacy pregnancy. She's now speaking out about the risks of repeat surrogacies and advocating for medical standards for surrogacy in Canada.
I think that every single surrogate at some point in their journey questions what they're doing. I think we are a certain brand of crazy, to put it kindly, but we do this because we want to help.
Roberts had 2 kids of her own, but knew she wanted to help another couple. She had watched a friend act as a surrogate, and in 2016 started to look for information about becoming a surrogate herself.
I didn't quite understand what I was sinking my teeth into. People were messaging me left, right, and center. There's so many intended parents out there and only so many surrogates. So you sort of get flooded with messages and reading their stories, and it breaks your heart because you want to help everybody, but you know that you can't.
Roberts started preparing her body with painful injections and estrogen patches after she matched with one couple whose online profile stood out. The embryo transplant worked, and 9 months later, she delivered the couple's beautiful baby.
And just looking over, seeing the parents hold their daughter, and the dad looked up at me and he just had tears streaming down his face, and he just said, "Thank you." And it was just, any questions that I had ever had throughout the entire journey were just disappeared in that moment. It made everything worth it.
During our investigation, we spoke with dozens of surrogates. Nearly everyone described an emotional roller coaster right after giving birth.
I know I felt lost afterwards. I didn't know what else to do. And my brain kept asking, okay, so what do we do now? We've done this huge, incredible, amazing thing. What are we gonna do now? And so I knew right away that I think I was going to have to do it again.
Within 6 months, she'd already started trying to implant embryos for a second family.
I could have stopped. I could have said, no, I'm done. I didn't want to. I kept telling the mom, it's not over until this baby comes out, until I have your baby. I was bound and determined to help this family.
But the birth left her with serious medical complications. She attributes the physical repercussions to the rapid succession of her surrogacy pregnancies and doesn't think the decision to start a new pregnancy should be left up to a surrogate who's just given birth and is emotionally vulnerable. Given the fact that we don't have national medical standards for surrogacy, where does that leave the women?
Well, it leaves them vulnerable.
This high-risk obstetrician says because there's no mandatory wait time for repeat surrogacies, he's also ringing alarm bells about the lack of medical oversight in Canada's surrogacy industry.
I think we should recognize that surrogates are altruistic, kind people who are at risk of power imbalances.
He says surrogacy pregnancies are so much more risky to begin with when compared to a regular pregnancy because surrogates tend to be older, have had multiple pregnancies, and are being implanted with other people's embryos.
So all of these reasons are why we would be concerned about short inter-pregnancy intervals in surrogacy.
While Robert's surrogacies were close together, we found others even closer. In one case, a surrogate in her late 30s who had had a C-section was implanted with another couple's embryo less than 4 months later.
I think it's actually in that sector that we really have to hold people accountable to the value and importance of pre-pregnancy counselling. Pre-pregnancy counselling might have resulted in a decision not to be a surrogate or to delay it for further investigations, or to reflect more carefully on whether they really want to embark on those risks. That's what informed choice is, and really every woman in this country deserves really good informed choice.
Just because we do get wrapped up in the journey, we do get wrapped up in the feel-goods and the adrenaline rush of that you get from this journey. It's an incredible feedback experience, so why wouldn't you want to experience that again? You just might not be ready.